welcome to the Deep Dive.
Hi there.
This is where we take the material, you send us articles, notes, all that, and really get into it.
Yeah, unpack it.
Exactly. Pull out what matters, connect the dots. The idea is to get you up to speed quickly on complicated stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And today, we're looking at, well, just incredibly tragic breaking news from India. Air India flight AI171, June 12th. 2025.
Yeah, it's grim. We've got reports here from BBC, CNN, flight tracking data, statements from the airline, Boeing, governments, quite a bit.
Right. So this deep dive is really for you listening to cut through that initial noise and understand what the sources we have are actually saying, the known facts and, the initial implications.
Okay, let's get started.
So the incident itself, what do we know happened?
Well, the basics are stark. The sources are clear on this. It was Thursday, June 12th, 2025.
Okay.
The flight was Air India AI171. It was a Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner.
It's a Dreamliner, yeah.
And it was flying from Ahmedabad in India to London Gatwick, UK.
And the people on board?
242 total. That includes both passengers and the crew.
242 souls.
Yeah.
And takeoff time?
About 1:38 p.m. local time in Ahmedabad.
Okay. And then things went wrong very fast, based on these reports.
Very fast. The sources use phrases like almost immediately after takeoff.
Almost immediately.
Yeah, that's when it encountered difficulties. And the flight tracking data, like from Flight Radar 24, it really backs that up. Contact was lost less than 1 minute after it left the runway.
Wait, less than 60 seconds?
Yes, under a minute.
And how high did it get?
Just 625 feet.
Wow. 625 feet. That's incredibly low.
Barely clear of the ground, really.
Did the crew? Did they manage to communicate anything? A warning.
They did get one thing out. Sources confirm a Mayday call was issued to air traffic control.
Mayday. Okay, so the most serious distress call.
Exactly. It means grave, imminent danger, need immediate help. But, and this is critical, that was it.
The only call.
The only communication received from the crew after takeoff. Nothing else.
And then the crash. It came down. Not in an empty field.
No. It came down in Megani Nagar. It's described as a residential area very close to the airport.
Oh, that's awful. That just adds another layer of tragedy, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, because this wasn't just about the plane itself.
No, it's profoundly human and international.
Yeah.
Your sources mentioned the passenger list.
Yes. Air India released details. It paints a picture of, well, just how global this loss is.
Who was on board?
169 Indian nationals, 53 British citizens, 7 Portuguese nationals, and 1 Canadian citizen. Plus the crew, of course.
So many countries affected. One source called it a truly international tragedy.
And that feels accurate. Families across continents are grieving right now.
It's just heartbreaking. And the location, Megani Nagar, crashing in a residential zone.
Yeah, that immediately complicated the rescue efforts,
Yeah.
And the impact on the ground, the local residents. Reports mention trauma, people needing medical attention just from what happened around them.
Right. It's not just the crash site itself, it's the whole community there.
Exactly. It was someone's neighborhood.
We saw reports confirming emergency services were there almost instantly. Firefighters tackling blazes.
Yes, the response seems to have been very rapid, dealing with fires in that built-up area. Must have been incredibly difficult.
And the reactions poured in quickly, too, from governments.
They did. Indian Prime Minister Modi expressed being stunned and saddened, and UK Prime Minister Starmer called the scenes devastating.
And he confirmed UK authorities are working with India.
Yes, providing support, working with Indian officials. Standard procedure, but vital.
And the airline and manufacturer, Air India and Boeing.
Both responded quickly, according to the material. Air India activated an emergency center, a hotline for families, and pledged full cooperation.
Okay.
And Boeing issued a statement, too. Condolences and saying they're ready to support the investigation.
It's still hard to grasp. 242 people, each one had plans, family, friends. The sources mentioned consular services are coordinating, support centers are being set up. It's just an immense loss.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it immediately raises huge questions for the aviation world. Why this plane? Why now?
Right. Let's talk about that aviation context.
Yeah.
The sources you brought highlight something significant about the aircraft itself.
They do. They point out this seems to be the first major incident involving a Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner of this nature.
First major incident of this nature. That's important.
Very important. Because the 787 series, it's been flying since 2011. And overall, it's had a really strong safety record globally. It's a modern workhorse.
So for this aircraft type to be involved in something this severe.
It gets attention, definitely. And then there's the timing of it. right after takeoff.
Yeah, you mentioned less than a minute, 625 feet.
Exactly. And the sources correctly label takeoff and initial climb as critical phases of flight.
Why is that phase so critical?
Well, it's statistically where more incidents happen. You've got complex operations happening simultaneously, high engine power, retracting landing gear, flaps adjusting, all while you're at low speed and low altitude.
So less room for error, less time to react.
Precisely. Very little time or altitude to sort things out if something goes wrong unexpectedly.
And add to that, the 787-8, it's described as one of the most technologically advanced aircraft out there.
Yeah, packed with sophisticated systems. Things designed specifically to help pilots and, boost safety.
So you've got this advanced plane, good safety record, crashing almost instantly after takeoff.
It makes the whole thing deeply concerning for everyone in aviation. Puzzling.
Have the sources given any sort of initial clues? Weather, maybe?
The weather reports from the time seem pretty clear. Clear and stable is the description used.
So probably not a weather issue.
It seems unlikely to be the main factor based on that initial info, but of course the investigation has to confirm everything.
Right, and needs confirmation.
Okay.
And the speed, again, that rapid loss of contact.
Yeah, the fact it happened so fast at such a low altitude, it strongly suggests whatever occurred was sudden. Catastrophic, probably.
Giving the crew almost no time.
Minimal time. Minimal time to respond or even explain what was happening beyond that single word, Mayday.
Which points towards a really intensive investigation ahead.
Yeah.
Who leads that?
Indian aviation authorities are in charge. That's standard for where the accident happened.
Okay. And will others be involved? International experts?
Almost certainly. The sources mention likely participation from international aviation safety experts. That would typically include people from Boeing, the NTSB from the U.S. perhaps, other relevant bodies. It's a collaborative process.
And what will they actually look at? What gets examined?
Pretty much everything. The sources say they'll examine every aspect of the flight.
Like what specifically?
Maintenance records, the crew's training and history, weather data in detail, air traffic control recordings, the wreckage itself, obviously. Looking for mechanical failures, system issues, procedures, everything.
That sounds like a massive undertaking.
Oh, it is. Extremely thorough. These things take time. The sources note it's often many months or even years for a final report.
Months or years. But the goal isn't just to find out what happened here, is it? It's broader than that.
Exactly right. The primary goal, of course, is answers for the families. But beyond that, it's about learning, identifying any safety lessons that can prevent something similar anywhere in the world.
So this feeds back into overall aviation safety.
Absolutely. The industry's safety record, which is generally excellent, is built on learning from every single incident. Improving procedures, training, aircraft design, air traffic control. It's a continuous cycle.
So you can bet Air India, Boeing, regulators. They'll all be scrutinizing their own systems based on what comes out of this investigation.
Without a doubt, that's how safety improves.
Okay, so let's bring this back to you, the listener. We've gone through the details from the sources. Why does understanding this matter?
Well, I think an event like this, as rare as it is a stark reminder. Aviation is incredibly safe overall, but it involves complex machines and a dynamic environment. There are inherent risks.
And it highlights the importance of the investigators.
Yes, the critical, often unseen work these investigators do worldwide. Learning lessons is paramount.
It's just a tragedy with such deep, lasting effects. Families, communities, the industry. And it's worth repeating what the sources advise. In breaking news situations like this, sticking to credible information is so important. What is what we've tried to do here, just focusing on the material provided.
Definitely key.
Reflecting on this, there's a paradox here that really stands out from the material. You have this aircraft, the 787, truly a marvel of modern technology, loaded with safety systems. Yet something happens so incredibly quickly in that critical low-altitude phase right after takeoff that even a highly trained crew seemingly had no chance to recover or even communicate beyond that one distress signal.
Yeah.
Think about that contrast. Peak technology. And yet, how swiftly an unrecoverable situation can apparently develop when the margins are so thin. What does that tell us maybe about the continuous challenge of managing complexity and ensuring safety, not just in aviation, but in any high-stakes system we create?
That's a really powerful point to consider. A sobering thought.